How do you learn to put yourself first while still maintaining a healthy and balanced relationship? How do you know when you could fully trust someone, and what are the signs of that trust? How long does it take to know someone is fully in love with you or fully committed? How do you know when a relationship is over? What are those signs? What does it look like? What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode number 25 of the Jason Scalora Show. We are here in the studio, but alone, because I'm lonely. And Cal hates me, but I'm using his camera if you can't tell. For those of you that actually watch and don't just listen, you'll notice that the camera looks phenomenal on me, because it's not mine. Well, today I had some people ask some questions about relationships. And I've been getting a lot of them recently, to be honest with you. So I was like, okay, since I'm getting so many questions, I will just answer some questions. And then I decided, let me get actually a more broad horizon here. So I had a couple of my amigos send in some questions, and we're just going to riff off of those. Okay, first question. How do you learn to put yourself first while still maintaining a healthy and balanced relationship? Good question. How do you put yourself first? And there's many arguments for this, because if you are in a relationship, essentially you're in a spot where you have decided that this person is now going to be in a priority over your life. And I like the way Tony Robbins puts it, where he says it doesn't matter what he's doing, if it's an incredible business opportunity or anything about himself that he could be improving, if his wife is not okay, he doesn't move on. He doesn't do whatever thing he was going to do. She comes first. And so how do you maintain the controversial philosophy of putting yourself first while having a relationship where they are a priority as well? And it's hard. And there's not like a cookie cutter answer that I can give you. And you're going to find that to be the case with most of these questions. But the general rule of thumb is take care of yourself first to the point where then you can take care of them. So if you're in a terrible state of mind, maybe it's not a great time to be there for your partner, obviously case dependent. Maybe it's time for you to take care of yourself and say, hey, can we talk about this in an hour? I need a second to myself. I need to give myself some room to, bounce back from whatever's going on in your day or your week or whatever, or longer than an hour, however long you need to make sure that you're in the proper state of mind to where you can actually help somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like if you're in a hospital bed and you're dying, it's not like you should be going from room to room trying to help somebody else get better and exhaust yourself and die in the process of trying to help somebody else, because then you can't even help anybody. You can't give something to somebody that which you don't already have, right? If I'm unhappy or I'm unfulfilled or I don't exercise, I can't tell you how to be happy, fulfilled, or how to work out. I can't do those things because I don't possess those traits already within myself. In the same concept of you can't get into a relationship and give love to somebody if you don't already love yourself. And so how do you put yourself first, which is the actual question? The best answer I can give you is self-awareness. You have to know when it's time to put you first and when it's time to put them first. Because just because they're a priority now in your life doesn't mean that you can actually help them or put them as a priority over yourself if you're not in a good state. And not for nothing, if you're in a good relationship, you're in a relationship where both people prioritize themselves first. Because a good relationship is only a healthy relationship when it's between two individuals that have that self-confidence, that have that self-love. And so by you putting yourself first, you are simultaneously putting the relationship as a priority as well, because the best way to improve your relationship is to improve yourself. And so ironically, there's a lot of the time where putting yourself first is actually, in fact, putting the relationship first. There's no difference between that. And if you're in a relationship where somebody makes you feel like making your life better, working on your self-improvement is something that's holding them back from having a better relationship with you, then that person's not ready for a healthy and mature relationship. So you just got to be cognizant of that, because oftentimes we can get lost in the trap of, oh, if you're not there for me and you're working on you all the time, that means that you're not a good person or you're not good with relationships or whatever the hell they're going to say. Because putting you first is putting the relationship first. Because relationships are only healthy between two people who are self-confident and love themselves. How do you know when you could fully trust someone, and what are the signs of that trust? So this is a really good question, because there are a lot of issues with trust in college relationships. Maybe you've been cheated on in the past. Maybe things haven't worked out for you well. Maybe you've gotten your heart broken over and over again, and now you don't have, you can't trust anybody. You have trust issues. And so how do you know when you can actually trust somebody? Because, you've been hurt so many times before. What do you do to make sure that you don't run into these same problems? Again, not a cookie cutter answer. There's a couple things you need to be aware of before you try and, attack the problem of the other person, of how do I know if I can trust them, right? This is so them focused and not you focused. The first thing you need to look at is yourself, because if you keep getting into relationships with people that you can't trust, eventually you have to look at yourself. If you're the one that keeps attracting these shitty people, is it all the shitty people or is it you? There's plenty enough shitty people to go around, but there's also plenty good people to go around that you would trust. So what is holding you back from finding those good people? Because good people attract good people. High value people attract high value other people. And those relationships are clearly on the minority, but if you look at the people that do have good relationships, it's because there's two good individuals, right? Here's a good example. Let's say you get super pissed when your girlfriend or boyfriend goes out to the bar or the club, right? Because you get jealous because, their ex was there, and whatever the fuck you're going to say. Do you not trust them, or are you not confident? Or is it both? I don't know. That's for you to decide. Sometimes there's trust issues. Maybe they've betrayed your trust in the past. Maybe you have X, Y, and Z reason to not trust them. So be it. Leave that for now. What about you? If the reason why you don't want your partner going out to the bar or the club or whatever is because you're not confident, therefore them going out makes you jealous, because if a girl looks at your man, or if a guy, is potentially going to go and hit on your girl at the bar, or whatever these, hypothetical scenarios that are in your head that are driving you crazy are being, what is the real reason why it's driving you crazy? Because if you were a truly confident individual, you wouldn't have to be taught that you would be okay alone. In other words, the thought of losing your partner is devastating, yes, but you know that you'd be okay. It's not like your sense of self-worth is attached to that person or anybody else or anything else. Because people who are truly confident never attach their sense of self-worth to anything externally. A girlfriend, a boyfriend, a husband, a wife, a car, a nice house, a career, a paycheck. None of those things matter to their self-confidence because it's all internal, right? Those are the people that take care of themselves. Those are the people that manage their spirituality, are in loving and fulfilling relationships, take care of their mental health, their physical health, all these things that are super important. So therefore, they're confident in themselves because they have something internal that they rely on to feel confident about themselves, nothing external. So when their girlfriend or boyfriend, gives you the dreaded text of, I'm going out to the bar tonight, there's no spike of fucking jealousy and resentment and fear and all these shitty feelings, because ultimately they'd be okay alone. So they want their partner to go out. Oh my God, have fun. You're going to have a great night tonight. If you need anything, let me know. They don't send their boys to go and spy on her and take pictures of her if she, God forbid, is having a conversation with anybody with a penis. That's not what happens, because they're confident. They're truly confident. Not chest up, ego confidence, real confidence. At that point, you don't care, right? And it's so funny because I talk to so many dudes. So many dudes come up to me and they say, Jay, it's so bullshit. I forgot. There was one of my clips on TikTok that went stupid viral because it was so controversial, apparently. It was like fucking 2 million views in like 6 days because I had said on the podcast, on the Conscious Cast, that I wouldn't care if my girl went out to a bar or a club if I was dating her, because I'm a confident guy. I haven't always been a confident guy. I don't say that with ego. I say that with just, this is the truth. It's taken me like 4 or 5 years to like consistently put in the work and the effort to make myself feel good about myself. Like, I didn't always feel that way. I wouldn't have always been this person in a relationship. I haven't always been this person in a relationship. It's taken time. But now that I actually care about myself and I love myself, and I was in a relationship with somebody that I trusted, there was no bullshit. There was no worry. There was no fear. There was no don't wear this or don't talk to him or sending my friend to go take pictures of her or send my friend to spy on her to see, God forbid, if she does anything remotely that's going to make me be reaffirmed in my belief that she's going to cheat on me or whatever. None of that happens. It doesn't even come up. Every time she's like, oh, I'm going to go to a party, I'm like, have fun. That's great. I hope you have the best time. And it's real. It's genuine. It's not fake bullshit because I said it on TikTok or that I'm saying on the podcast, so I got to practice what I preach so I don't look like... No, like, it's real. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. And you can all get to that place too. For real. It's not like... It's hard to do, but easy to understand. Work out consistently. Take care of your physical health. Start self-educating on a regular day. Cut out your shitty friends. Do these things that are good for your life that you know. It's not like I'm telling you that you eating 17 cookies at 3 a.m. and scrolling on TikTok late at night is not good for you. You don't need me to tell you that. That's not going to make a difference in your knowledge. What's going to make a difference is if you act on it. And if you spent 4 or 5 years actually consistently putting in the work and the effort to make yourself better, you would be a much better and more confident person in relationships. You would rarely have trust issues because, first of all, you'd love yourself, so you're not going to settle for anybody else that's a low-value individual, somebody that doesn't take care of themselves, somebody that's going to treat you shitty, someone that would end up breaking your trust by cheating on you or doing whatever, because you're not going to attract those people, nor will you settle for them if they want you. But 2, you'll be confident. When they want to go out, you're going to be like, have the best time. There's not going to be any if, buts, or maybes. There's not going to be any of that because you're a confident person. But it's so hard to hear because 99% of the people that you ask about are going to give you the same shitty advice. They're all going to tell you, dude, he's full of shit, bro. Like, everybody's jealous. No, not everybody's jealous. Not everybody's jealous. A minority of people are not. But a minority of people are those same people that have good, healthy relationships, that go to bed not in a shitty argument, that don't have text battles all the time, that don't go to their friends and the only thing they talk about is talking shit about their partner and their relationship, talking shit about their husband and their wives. There's so many people that tell me that all the time. They're like, this is just what everybody does. No, that's not what everybody does. That's not what everybody does. You just don't hang out with the right people. And you would no longer want to spend time with these people if you made yourself better. Because if you made yourself better, you'd be in a better relationship, and you wouldn't be in a relationship where you'd want to talk shit about them. And it'd be cancer to your ears to listen to other people talk shit about their partners. It's ironic, too. I just heard Jordan Peterson talking about this. He was just talking about one of his occasions with a couple of his friends from high school or whatever. And he said that all day, he just listened to them complain about their wives. That's all that they were talking about, was they were just talking shit about their wives. And he was like, they're so stupid that they didn't understand that they're simultaneously talking shit about themselves, which you are. Imagine you're in a relationship with somebody for 20 years, married, have kids, and all you do is speak badly about that person. That's the person you chose. You got down on one knee for. That's the person that you read your vows to. That's the person you live with. That's the person who you had children with. And you're bashing them all day, every day? That's crazy. That's not crazy to you? That doesn't reflect terribly on you? He literally said this. He said, you're basically waving around a sign saying, I'm stupid. Look who I picked. Look what I wound up with. Look what you wound up with. Look what they wound up with. The person that talks shit about them. And they probably do the same. Great. How good is that? What the hell was the question? I'm on a fucking rant. How do you know you could fully trust someone? Okay, so that was a huge tangent, but it's the truth. The first thing you need to look at is yourself and your self-confidence, how much you've been working on yourself. It's inevitably, that's like if you come to me with trust issues, the first thing I'm going to say to you, and people can vouch for this if you know me well enough, the first thing I'm going to say to you is, where are you going wrong? Why aren't you confident? You. Don't point the finger until you've spent enough time working on yourself. That's always the first thing I say. Besides that, in my opinion, and this is just from my experience, take it for what it's worth. You know, I'm 21. I haven't been in a serious, long relationship. Most people who are married have been in relationships longer than I've even been alive. So, take it for what it's worth. But the way that I manage trust is I give trust 100% until I'm proven otherwise. Here's my reasoning. It's not that I haven't been hurt before. It's not that nobody's ever betrayed my trust, because believe me, I've been through it. I get it. But that doesn't make it right or fair to myself or to somebody that I'm talking to not give them that trust, whether it's a friend or a girlfriend or whoever, to not give them that trust. In my perspective, giving that trust and then allowing them to do with it what they will is a much better idea. It's a much better plan. Can you get hurt? Yes. Will you get hurt? Yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't Trust somebody. You'll never let them open up to you, and you'll never open up to them. And all of your relationships are going to be surface level. All of them. Boyfriend, girlfriend, family, friends, doesn't matter. All of your relationships are going to stay on the surface because you didn't let yourself open up to them, and you never let them open up to you because you're too afraid to give that trust because you've been hurt before. But there's no shit-free path. Either you give the trust with the taking on the risk of getting burned, or you never give it and take on the risk, the certain risk, the 100% risk of never having a deep, meaningful relationship. Love is worth it. Love is worth it, man. And that doesn't just mean intimacy. That doesn't mean, somebody you're getting married to. That means, love with your friends, love with your family, love in all of your relationships. If you don't allow yourself to trust, if you don't give that trust just initially as a human right, in a sense, then you're never going to get that deep, meaningful relationship. You have to pick your battle. There's no shit-free path. I wish there was. If you can open up and have a deep, meaningful relationship without trusting, I would give you all that advice, because why get burned if you wouldn't have to get burned? But you got to take the good with the bad. So yeah, that's that on trust. How far are we on? Okay, not bad. Next question. How long does it take to know someone is fully in love with you or fully committed? Again, this is a tough question because of my lack of years on this earth. Again, there are people that have been in relationships with one person for 3 times the amount of time I've been alive, like crazy shit like that. So like, to me, I feel like I'm not the best one to give an answer on that. And I don't want to sound like, I'm a college student, and I've only experienced what I've experienced, and I haven't had enough time to really give a good, solid answer that I think is going to be something that's reliable. So I don't really want to give an answer. To me, just coming from this little bit of years that I've had in serious relationships, I think that the best piece of advice on when someone's committed or when someone's in love with you is when you experience the consistency of how they treat you. Not how they feel about you, not how they say they feel about you, the consistent way that they treat you or don't treat you. That's how you know somebody's committed or loves you. From my perspective, from my experience. Again, take it for what it's worth. But as corny as it sounds, actions speak way louder than words do. And for you to know somebody loves you shouldn't be based on how they say they feel about you or how you think they might feel about you. It should be based on how they treat you on an everyday basis, how they make you feel about yourself, whether or not they put you as a priority in their life. That's how you should know whether or not somebody loves you or is committed to you. Not based on words. Words don't mean shit if they're not backed up by consistent and persistent action. They don't mean anything. It's like somebody that says, well, I'm going to start working out next week. The fuck does that mean? What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's just fucking words. It doesn't mean shit. Action. That's for me personally, that's how you know somebody loves you or is committed to you. Oh, I like this question. How do you know when a relationship is over? What are those signs? What does it look like? Very good question. And again, it's not always a cookie cutter answer. There's not like one way that I can tell you of this and this and this will happen, and then that's when the light bulb will go off. Like, it's not, I wish there was a way I could say that, but there's just not, and there never is, frankly. Relationships are messy, and I'm sure you already know that, but a big quote that I use is this. When it comes to relationships, if you find yourself searching for reasons to stay, that is your reason to leave. When you've been with somebody for so long, it's so hard to sort of put that on a seesaw of good traits and bad traits. And does it mean I should stay? Does it mean I should leave? It's messy. You can't fucking weigh those things. But it doesn't matter how good you think they treat you. It doesn't matter how hard they try. If somebody's not good for you and you find yourself constantly looking for reasons to stay with them, always justifying, always telling your friends, it'll get better, or always relying on the fact that he was once this way or she was once this way. When we first met, it wasn't like this. When you keep finding these reasons to stay and you're searching for them and justifying them, that's when you know it's time to leave. When you find yourself justifying for somebody else, that's when it's time to leave. It's over. It's been over. It's been over for a long time. For you to try and dig up reasons that are half-assed and don't even make sense just so that you could stay in a relationship because you're comfortable doesn't make it the right thing to do. If you're looking for reasons to stay, it's your reason to leave. Don't stay with somebody that's draining you out. There's no reason for that. I feel like this is such an obvious answer. Like, you know. Like, you know. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe it's theirs. Maybe it's a culmination of both. Maybe you can get therapy and make things better. Should you try? Yes. But you know when it's over. You know. It hurts. It sucks. It's a terrible feeling to be uncomfortable. It's a terrible feeling to be in a relationship with somebody for 2 years who you loved and they know everything about you and you know everything about them and you know the name of their dog and their cat and where their plates are in their house. But it doesn't mean you should stay because you're afraid of leaving all of this. Because you know this place. You know this place inside and out. That place is hell. Doesn't mean you should stay just because you know it so well. You wouldn't stay in a rat-infested and insect-infested and broken-down house just because you knew the house. Why would you stay in a relationship like that? When it's time to go, it's time to go. If you are searching for reasons to stay, that is your reason to leave. If you have any relationship questions or any questions about anything at all, please feel free to comment or send me a DM or whatever. I'm happy to answer questions about anything. I actually find it more fun for myself and I maybe more helpful for you. I don't know. For me to just be more improv. I actually find it even more helpful when I'm talking to someone about some problem because then it's more situational. It's more like I can get context, but whatever. If you send me a contextual piece of advice that you'd like or whatever, then shoot, go for it. But thank you for tuning into episode number 25 of the Jason Scalora Show. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can find my pages below. Love yourself because I love you, and stay handsome.